trucking for a free world.
Oh, now here's some breaking news if there ever was any. You remember that little thing a couple years ago where, Canadians from coast to coast to coast drove all across Canada and converged on Ottawa. And, they were just kind of like, standing up for this little thing called freedom. And there were some bouncy castles and lots of parties in the streets. And it was a great time. And then Prime Minister Blackface decided to invoke the Emergencies Act, which is like a wartime act, basically, against the citizens. And the Wicked Witch of the West, Freeland, decided to freeze people's bank accounts for supporting these patriots and freedom-loving Canadians. Yeah.
Accounts have been frozen.
It has been in court for a while, just ruled that the use of the Emergencies Act was completely and totally unconstitutional. It violates the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. If this doesn't put a smile on your face, are you even in Canada? Are you Canadian? We've been waiting a long time for this decision. So, of course, what does Freeland have to say about it?
So we are aware of the court decision. We have discussed it with the Prime Minister, with cabinet colleagues, with senior federal government officials and experts. We respect very much Canada's independent judiciary. However, we do not agree with this decision, and respectfully, we will be appealing it.
Of course you are, you wicked witch of the West. I'm really tired of people using that excuse. I mean, governments have all throughout history, and it's always been bad. Whatever a government says, it's for your safety, or we're going to restrict your freedoms or take away your freedoms and rights, for your safety. It's never a good thing. But I think there was some famous leader somewhere in Germany back in the 1940s that said something along those lines too. Anyways, we know that excuse is not valid, that freedom is the most important thing. Without freedom, nothing else matters. So when you get these idiots, there are a few people out there that'll actually ask really stupid questions like, is freedom more important than safety? Of course it is. Like, what kind of stupid question is that? Who the hell wants to live in a so-called safe police state? And your perception of safety, it doesn't, just because you feel afraid or you feel like you're not safe is not justification to infringe on anyone else's rights or freedoms. It's like when they go and try to take away people's firearms in any country, and the government always uses the safety excuse, even though, like here in Canada, licensed and legal vetted firearms owners are safer to the population than non-firearms owners. In fact, somebody like me who has my gun license is on average between 3 and 4 times less likely to ever commit murder in my lifetime compared to somebody who doesn't own any guns and doesn't have a firearms license. So what does that tell you? That tells you that if I've got a gun license and I own guns, I am very safe. I am one of the safest members of society. And if you think or feel or perceive that I'm a danger or a threat to society, that's irrelevant. That's just your feelings. Go find a therapist, because it's not fact. And no, you don't have a right to feel safe. I love it when people are like, well, I don't feel safe, so we've got to stop people from doing this or doing that because, I don't feel safe. Since when do you have a right to feel safe? You might have a right to be safe, but just because you don't feel safe doesn't mean you aren't safe. So yeah, you need to hire a therapist, because that argument doesn't fly. Anyways, this is fantastic news, so I'm going to crack a beer to that tonight. And I'm going to leave you with a little memory from that wonderful time just a couple years ago. Keep on rocking in the free world, everyone.
I know this place is where I am. No other place is better than. No matter where I go, I am proud to be Canadian. I am, you know I am. The world that works.
the one we call Canadian. Canadian.